How's everybody doing? Welcome into Tuned Into NoCo. I'm Ashlee, and today I have Carlos Barata on the show. He's a music therapist and a singer-songwriter and performer. First off, Carlos, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Ashlee. Pleasure to be here.
For sure. Now, to start, for those who don't know, can you explain what music therapy is all about?
Sure. Music therapy, I like to phrase it as it's really what a person needs in that moment. So the difference between entertainment and music therapy is that there is usually a therapeutic goal in mind, often a non-musical goal in mind, whether it's someone that's dealing with mental health or maybe rehabilitation. Music therapists work in a variety of different settings, from schools to hospitals, prisons, working on a variety of different topics and using music as their primary medium, if you will, to pretty much guide the therapeutic process.
Okay.
We look at music as kind of being the third party in the room. So it's kind of like a very philosophical, maybe out there, if you will. It's a very research-heavy field. It's growing and becoming very collaborative on interdisciplinary teams, really all across the world. So to be a music therapist, you need to be board certified and go through 1,200 hours of clinical training.
Wow.
And there's a long list of other things that we have to do to get to the point where we can actually meet with someone and treat them.
Yeah. How do you see music therapy helping people?
For me, even knowing myself, let's just take it from a mental health perspective. Say, someone's coming in with something like anxiety or depression or maybe grief. Sometimes it's hard to put things into words. When we express ourselves, when we are processing various struggles that we're having in life, music is a really great way to work through things, whether it's analyzing lyrics to a song or just creating space for someone to feel like they are safe to express themselves. And really just giving them another avenue to do so. We are trained in a variety of different instruments, different modalities, so we can really try to guide someone who has zero music experience on how to play a djembe or how to play a piano. Again, it's not to be virtuosic. It's not about the quality. It's about helping them reach a goal, a health and wellness goal, and using music to do that.
So in music therapy, what strategies do you use? You mentioned you can teach someone an instrument.
To backtrack, when we're teaching someone, it's not really a music education like you might encounter in school, but really just kind of helping them be comfortable and familiar with an instrument that they may not know, and how can you use this instrument to maybe express your anger or your sadness or whatever it may be. Just go online, musictherapy.org is the American Music Therapy Association. We have a variety of different methods that we coin, from receptive to recreative, compositional, improvisational. These are all different methods that we use. Receptive and recreative being, I'm here playing you a song. Maybe you have a hard time getting out certain emotions, or you just felt kind of blah about something, and providing that space allows someone to express themselves, to let go. Compositional sounds like what it literally means, writing music. You can actually work with a client in songwriting and kind of using music as a way for them, or the process of writing a song, to explore different things that may be going on.
Okay.
I've worked in hospice previously with music therapy. One of my favorite things to do in hospice is something called a legacy project. So when someone is at end of life, we actually will record a heartbeat and use that as the foundation. We'll record maybe a preferred song, or it's really at that point kind of a grief legacy project to help family members that will be processing that after someone has gone. And using that base of a heartbeat to then record over that, and we'll record all of that and then provide it to a family, so then they can keep that almost kind of like as a lasting, they're always here in song, kind of thing. People really take that in a variety of ways, but it's super powerful. It gives me chills every time I do it.
For sure. Now, are there certain genres that you tend to lean towards?
That's a great question. And that's actually a great leading question into the main crux of music therapy is that it's always client preferred. So we are trained to learn, again, trained in a variety of different instrumentation, a variety of different genres. A lot of us come into music therapy already with a music degree. Sometimes this ends up being a second career path for people or just something additional. For me, it's kind of, I've always loved it. I never had a chance to go to school for it. So, COVID presented a really great opportunity for me to go back to school. Ironically, for some it did not. But that's how I pursued my certification was all throughout these 2 years of COVID.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a long journey, but it's really based off of what a client or a patient needs in that moment. So I've gone home and learned music that I've never before thought I'd ever play in my life.
Yeah.
But it's for the patient, for the client, for what they need in that moment. And sometimes it is in the moment. Sometimes it's a client requesting a song and you go out to lunch and you're in your car and you're just listening to the song on repeat and trying to get the basics down so then you can provide that experience for someone.
It's so interesting. It's another art form.
Yeah, it really is.
Really
Health
cool.
and art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you, along with other local musicians, are putting on a benefit for suicide prevention. It's happening September 10th at Wolverine Farm in Fort Collins. It's also going to be benefiting the nonprofit Alliance for Suicide Prevention. What should people know?
Yeah. Well, one of the main things that I think people should remember is September 10th is World Suicide Prevention Day. So we did that intentionally to kind of take a community angle, kind of like casting the small stone, creating the ripple effect. This is just an opportunity for people to come together for an evening of connection, expression. As the event title is, Let's Be Still, Stillness. But in a very kind of literal and figurative way, breaking the silence that surrounds mental health and the stigma that goes with suicide conversations everywhere. One of the main things that people should know at 6 p.m. Is when we'll be gathering at Wolverine Farm. The doors will open at 5:30. There's a suggested donation of $15. People are welcome to give more. People don't have to give if they can't and feel like they could benefit from this event. We're not going to turn people away. RSVPs are encouraged ahead of time just so we can get a better sense of capacity and making sure.
And how should someone RSVP?
Sure. So really they can just Venmo. If they Venmo Let's Be Still, at Let's Be Still, they can also find the event on Facebook. There's details on Wolverine Farm's website about what they can do. But if they just go ahead and Venmo the $15 over, I will have their name. They're welcome to put the event title in the description or how many people are coming. And I will go ahead and create a guest list, which my wife will probably be manning that night.
Awesome.
We'll manning that night.
Yeah, and this is going to be at Wolverine Farm. Is that outdoors?
It isn't. Our plan is to have it outdoors in the courtyard on the first floor, weather pending. If the weather is just so terrible that we have to move it up to the second floor, we will have a little bit more limited space. Sadly, the access to the second floor is stairs only, so that might be something someone might want to know and keep in mind.
Yeah.
But our plan, and given the luck that we always have with Colorado weather, I think it'll be sunny, and I think I'm ready for fall, so I'm banking on it being a beautiful day.
You and me both. Well, that sounds super fun. Now, at the event, you're going to be with other local musicians. You guys are having a set prepared, I assume, and will there be vendors there?
Vendors in the sense we will have, there won't be any like selling necessarily. We will have a selling in that vendor sense, but we're going to have some resources there. The Alliance for Suicide Prevention will be there. The Yarrow Collective, which is a like peer support group for working through these types of things in town. We will have Pathways for Grief and Loss, which is associated with Pathways Hospice here in Northern Colorado. But they have an excellent team of grief counselors, and they will be there providing just a variety of different activities, memorial-based activities, and just being a resource in case anybody has questions or maybe are interested in having some extra support or learning about peer support groups, or maybe they're even looking for a counselor. But ultimately, just having those organizations there will offer a different dynamic, almost kind of, not authority, but they have knowledge that, us musicians don't necessarily have, but they know what resources are available, and how people can get involved, even if they want to support the cause in other ways, like creating an event like this.
Totally. Now, are you guys in need of volunteers at all? Are you guys set?
No, we don't really need any volunteers.
Okay.
This is really going to be a very self-sustained musician artist. Not to just focus on the musicians, but we'll have excellent live artists there too, amazing individuals here in town that I've been able to connect with. Some of these people I haven't even met in person, but I've caught wind of them some way or another, just like news travels around this town. And they're just excellent and super willing. And my understanding is that some of them either are passionate about the cause or have a personal tie to the cause. For me too, my why for this event and starting this in the beginning is having my own personal ties to having lost a very significant amount of people in my family to suicide. So this for me is I'm very much in the logic of taking lemons and making lemonade.
Yeah.
Taking something bad, taking suffering. Not that everyone has to do this or feel forced to do this. It's just my way of taking something that's sad and putting beauty to it. And oftentimes I think we find ourselves in a place where there's so much happening around us in the world that, oh my gosh, there can't be something beautiful at the same time. But they both can exist.
Right. Yeah. Inundated all the time with negative news and yep. So how much do you guys hope to raise at this event?
I think doing the math, and based off the capacity, I'm really hoping to maybe reach around the $1,000 mark.
Cool.
But for me, again, it's like focusing on so much on how much we're going to raise suggests that, if people can't give, they can't come. But I want people to feel like this is about belonging. And if you feel like you could benefit from this, we're not going to turn you away if you can't pay the money. For me, if I have one person out of that night come up and say that they have a greater sense of hope, or they feel one step further in their healing process, that's success.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, we kind of briefly touched on this earlier, but obviously you're planning on having other local musicians at this event. Is there a certain type of music that you're planning to play?
Sure. I think what people can expect is a very intimate ambiance, if you will. The aesthetic is definitely going to be intimate, maybe a little somber, but, I listen to sad songs and can feel happy sometimes, depending on what that is. So I don't want to say that the songs are going to be sad, but I guess in terms of genre, I was very intentional in picking individuals that, I've heard their music or have interacted with them and just really sense like incredible authenticity and just beauty in who they are as people. If we want to put a name on the genre, I would probably classify us all in kind of like an indie folk singer-songwriter. We will have amplification, but it's mostly going to be acoustic instruments.
Okay, well that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be really great.
Really cool.
We'll also, I had mentioned artists. We're going to have musicians. We're also going to have live poetry.
Really?
So it's going to be a trifecta of art.
Well, it sounds great. Everybody listening, you heard this. September 10th, mark your calendars. Head to Wolverine Farm in Fort Collins. It's going to be a benefit for suicide prevention. There's going to be music, poetry, and if you cannot donate to the cause, you can still go. However, they are asking for RSVPs. You can get more info on Facebook, or what's the handle for your Venmo if they want to send that $15?
Let's Be Still. And if they want to contact me directly, they can reach letsbestillseptember@gmail.com. And that email will go directly to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions or hop on a call with anybody that
Awesome. So let's be still September
at gmail.com.
Great.
And the handle is for Venmo's Let's Be Still.
All right. Now, if someone, like I said, they're unable to attend, but they want to donate, do they just donate to that Venmo handle?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I would just so we don't expect you, just let us know that you won't be attending, but you want to support the cause. That's a really great question. I'm glad you asked it because people can certainly support this if they can attend. Every dime is just, whatever comes through Venmo is going to go straight to the Alliance.
All right. So now let's kind of switch gears here. I know we kind of touched on it at the beginning of the interview, but let's talk a little bit more about you. What drew you to being a musician and being in music therapy?
Yeah, music for me just has a long history in my family. I just grew up around a lot of musicians. My family has immigrated from Portugal. Just based off of that culture alone, music is a huge part of cultural expression in Portugal. So I grew up around a lot of music. Some of my earliest memories, and I don't have many, are around music. Being in like dingy cellars with like my dad and grandparents and family members and friends, and usually alcohol involved, not me, because I was a child, but just having such a spirited, good time, it's such a sense of nostalgia for me, but that's what drove me to music. It just clicks with me. It makes me, and it's not to say, I'm not a virtuoso, I'm not famous. I really don't even intend to be. I just like playing. I like playing shows. I like creating those experiences for people and just connecting with people. Again, I'm just amazed that, there's always just like one person that like comes up to you at a show and like will say something so significant that's like, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And it's not about the money that comes in, and it's not about how many people are seated there. And, the music industry would say something different too, because we're all about filling seats and everything like that. But
that's where the true passion is.
yeah, I guess it's just the passion, and I sense that a lot just in all of these musicians that are playing, that it's about that stuff too, that they're just very caring, again, authentic, passionate about the work that they do. Same with the artists that will be here and the poets as well.
For sure. Well, that's great. Well, is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know?
No, just take care of each other and be kind. Because a lot of people are going through things that we don't know. And I think that that's just, if we go forth in every interaction with a little more love in mind, I think that could be the solution that we need to preventing suicide.
Absolutely. Well, Carlos, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This was great. Again, you guys, September 10th, mark your calendars. Go to Wolverine Farm in Fort Collins. It's going to be a great event for a great cause. If you are interested in attending, you can send them a Venmo of $15 at Let's Be Still, or shoot them an email for more info at letsbestillseptember@gmail.com.